little time is given in Christian Talk Radio dealing with those Muslims who, in fact, seek Allah and eventually find Jesus. Well, my guest, Nabeel Qureshi, has written an outstanding memoir. It's a great testimony story of how a devout Muslim encounters Christ, and it is called Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus. The Holy Spirit led him away from Islam and into the arms of Christ. Your parents were from Pakistan, as I understand it. Is that right?
That's correct.
How would your parents today look at groups like ISIS or these other groups that don't claim to be the reestablishment of the caliphate, but at the same time are heavily political, as outside historic Islam?
Especially my parents and the sect that they come from. But in general, too, in the West, if you talk to Muslims, and most Muslims here are very adamant that ISIS does not represent Islam, and neither do a lot of these other political movements that are using violence.
From your experience, would you say that that's a proper interpretation, or are they simply suppressing certain aspects of Islamic revelation that are uncomfortable?
I'm very thankful that most Muslims think that Islam is a religion of peace. I wish more Muslims did. But I think the fact of the matter is, when you look at Muhammad's life through the earliest sources, you can tell that, in fact, ISIS is, in broad strokes, doing things that are very similar to what Muhammad himself did.
Tell us a little bit of what it was like growing up in that environment.
I was truly taught a religion of peace. That was the version of Islam that I was taught. Jihad was never in my mind. In fact, it was praying 5 times a day, reciting the Quran regularly, being able to help those in need through our alms, the zakat. That's what Islam was to me from childhood.
What role did reason play in your pursuit of knowledge?
I was taught that Islam was based on solid evidence. The reason why Islam is true is because we can know that the Quran is the inspired word of Allah. None of this belief where everyone's religion is right to them and everyone's equally correct. No, we were taught that Islam is true and Christianity, as well as all other religions, are false. The teaching that was given to us spent an equal amount of time teaching us that Christianity is false, specifically the reliability of the Bible, the doctrine of the Trinity, deity of Christ. Those issues particularly were taught to me as false doctrine. It was peaceful insofar as you can believe whatever you want, but you're wrong.
When were you first challenged to consider plausibility of other religious truth claims?
I was pushing Christians all around me to consider what they thought was true. I was telling them that the Bible was not reliable. I was telling Christians that Jesus did not claim to be God, that the Trinity is polytheism and is incoherent. And it wasn't until one young Christian who had formerly been an atheist started responding to me. It was very specifically my conversations with him starting my freshman year of college where I began to explore these matters more carefully.
No hostility between you at the beginning?
Oh, not at all. I was thinking to myself, finally, here's someone who actually cares about his faith enough to stand up for it and explain it.
Very good. You didn't run across many Christians like that, huh?
Not really, unfortunately. I basically assumed that since Christians didn't talk about their faith, they didn't actually believe it. Immediately, right off the bat, the challenge was from me to David on the textual integrity of the Bible. I challenged him that the Bible had been changed over time, corrupted. All David really had to do was challenge me and say, okay, where? Most of the earliest manuscripts of the Quran are not open to scholastic investigation, and those that have been investigated uniformly show variation from today's standard text. I think it's beginning to happen.
Good.
Scholars from Iran have begun to do it. 2 Turkish scholars are doing it. Doors are opening in the next 100 years. You know, some people say, do you know of any jobs that are a sure shot? And yeah, if you want to go into textual studies of the Quran, you will have a career.